My name is Jeremy Singer and I'm the director of CVM Digital, and we're based in Southend-on-Sea in Essex in England, just outside London. And we're a digital agency. 90% of what we do is sort of social media based.
Awesome. And how long have you been using Eclincher?
So we started using Eclincher about 4 years ago now, roughly, and we've been using it ever since.
Okay, so prior to that, and you don't have to name any specific tools, but had you tried any other social media management tools before Eclincher?
Yeah, so we tried most of them. So we started out with TweetDeck originally, about 7 years ago. We went on to Hootsuite. Then from Hootsuite, we started using one called Social Oomph, as well as a couple of other small ones. Each one had their own sort of different qualities that they could achieve. And then it got to the point where we were growing and growing and growing, and we needed a better software to be able to support what we were trying to do. And Eclincher seemed to have absolutely everything we had from all the other softwares all in one. And so I think that there was a 2-week period where I spent probably about 3-4 hours a day on every single software that was out there. And I literally hit them really, really hard, testing them, seeing what worked, what didn't work. And we made the jump to Eclincher.
Okay, so what you're saying is kind of that Eclincher sort of combines what you experienced in every other tool, so it's sort of a one-stop shop?
Yeah, and we did find a couple of other tools out there that did exactly what you did that we needed. However, Eclincher was first of all the best on price. And second of all, it was a case of the customer service was just absolutely impeccable. One of the girls who was working at the time, no longer with you, she was with you for a good few years, and it was just amazing. And, even to this day, I mean, particularly today of all days, I've got one other software company that I work with, and I spend hundreds of pounds a month with them. And I've been with them for a few years as well. And I have to wait a week for a response. And they give me a rubbish response back after a week. And then it's back and forth to the point where I've kicked off so much today that they're actually going to phone me tomorrow. But, I've lost probably $1,500 probably from their error, and I'm now a week and a half, still no response, still not sold. Whereas with Eclincher, everything's a matter of minutes or hours, and that is it's the best service I've had from any software provider ever.
That's wonderful to hear, and we're very aware that you don't have time to waste. You can't wait days or weeks for a response. I mean, you've got a job to do, so that's good. Customer service is a big priority of ours. Next question, can you give us an example of how specifically you use Eclincher to help manage your, daily social media strategy?
So we've got a lot of clients. We work with small businesses through to global household names. And, ultimately, the first things first is being able to schedule different queues is critical to what we do. Being able to post to multiple platforms in one go is, again, critical to what we do. And the biggest thing for me in terms of the most important feature for Eclincher is the fact that we have the ability to have the unified inbox. And that was the sales thing for me. Now, just to give you a little bit of historic value, I actually used to pay someone, just to deal with response. So they would be sitting there. Their whole job was to log in and out of every single Facebook account all day, every day. And when you've got hundreds of accounts and hundreds of Twitter accounts, and even myself, I've got probably 700 Twitter accounts, just me, let alone clients. We don't manage it all through Eclincher, but ultimately, it's a case of, you've got that situation where you need to be seeing all of these inbox responses, especially for the client and stuff. It's just the biggest time saver, biggest money saver, because I haven't got to pay someone to spend hours. We can now do it. What would normally take 3 hours, we can do in 15 minutes now.
That's amazing. That's one of the great things about, Eclincher. It's one of the whole reasons people use it is to try to save time and be a little more productive and efficient. So it sounds like in terms of, managing your inboxes, that's definitely helped shave off a lot of time. What about in terms of like scheduling out posts? Would you say that you spend less time doing that than if you were to kind of log into each platform individually?
Yeah, I think that we definitely do save time. The biggest time saver realistically though is when you're doing cross-platform stuff. So most of our clients nowadays, you know, they're going for 5, 6 platforms, and ultimately, don't get me wrong, it is different artwork for different platforms, there's different copy for different platforms, but the fact it's all there very quickly in one place, and sometimes there's 2 or 3 platforms where we'll use the same copy and the same artwork. It just means that and the thing is, I think that for me, we might only save 30 seconds or a minute maybe by doing that. But when you're doing thousands of posts a week, it all adds up. And for me as a business owner, I actually cost out every staff member per minute. So I know how much every staff member costs me for every minute. And so I know exactly how much money I probably save. And it's probably thousands just on that small 20 seconds here, 20 seconds there is a serious amount of money.
That's a lot of time and money, especially with the volume of accounts you're talking about. Yeah, that absolutely adds up at the end of the day and the week. So that's awesome. Is there anything else you would like to add that you think people should know about Eclincher?
I think the biggest things is the quality of service in terms of if you have a problem. We all know social media is changing every day. We all know the APIs and the algorithms change, and you know it's just a never-ending sort of world of aggro. But ultimately, the key thing to remember is that 24 hours a day, I've got someone who will talk to me, and I appreciate that obviously your technical team come on at slightly different times, but there's never even though they come on at slightly different times, there's never a massive window. Everything's fixed very, very, very quickly. And as I say, you take today as an example, you know, I'm fighting with a company that I'm paying, you know, serious money to, and a week and a half response is not good enough. And I even threw in a message to them earlier on. We work with you guys and we've got 24-hour response, and that's the way you should be, and that's how you should be. I actually told them they should be embarrassed, and they should, and other companies should be embarrassed, because you know if I didn't go back to my customers for a week and a half, I wouldn't be in business. And so ultimately, you know, I remember when I used to talk to even Hootsuite years ago, you'd never got proper responses. They're not. All of these other big tech software companies out there have got huge teams with no real. There's no accountability. No one wants to take action on it, and no one really actions things quickly. And it's, you know, you end up in these long-winded red tape processes that you just haven't got time for. And ultimately, that is the thing that just, you know, second to none in terms of customer service. And you do need sometimes that little bit of support and that little bit of help. And I could probably be an Eclincher customer support agent now, because I've been through so many different, do you know what I mean? There are little things here and little things there. And I've been, you know, and I suppose the other thing that's probably really critical to mention here is I started with you 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was. And over the years, I've come up with so many ideas for you guys that you should be doing. And all of those ideas, 99% of them have been implemented. Yeah. And that's what's really amazing, because, you know, if I phoned up Hootsuite or I was on customer call with them and I said to them, hey, I mean, I don't know what their system's like nowadays, but if I turn around and said to them, hey, why don't you add this to it? You know, oh, send it here. It'll go on a roadmap and we'll talk to you in 5 years. You know, that's not what happens with Eclincher. You know, they implement it. You know, you'll end up having a call with the directors and they love it and they want to know and they want to improve it. And I'm really excited. Obviously, you've got your update coming out soon, which is going to be amazing. And so, yeah, for me, I think that that's a company that takes note and actually actions things is a big, big game changer. I name a company where you can say to them, we want this in there, and they'll implement that within months, if not years. You know, to have that in a matter of days is just total value. So anyone who's watching this video that's sitting there and they've got suggestions and ideas, you know, these guys will implement it, and that is that is to me is absolute gold. Really,
that's wonderful. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. And it's the feedback we get from people who use Eclincher. It really and truly is so important, because we want this to be the most perfect tool for you. Social media, it's changing on the daily, and there's so much to manage that, you know, if you're so busy just posting and scheduling, you don't even have time to think about strategy, which is where it all starts. So being able to really reduce the time you spend doing sort of the grunt work is huge in terms of like your overall success online.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky because we've got a team of 10. So we've got copywriters, designers, photographers, animators, videographers, and we're all in-house. So the fact that my team can run Eclincher at speed and deal with stuff, you know, it's taken me out of the business, which is nice. So I can look at it overall and look at strategy and not worry about, you know, oh, let's log in and out of this platform every 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It's a case of we've got that tool. So it has changed our business, and it is at the heart of our business.